This is a crazy one. CBS News reprimanded its top morning anchor, Tony Dokoupil, over his heated interview with author Ta-Nehisi Coates over his views on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Let's watch.
What is it that so particularly offends you about the existence of a Jewish state that is a Jewish safe place and not any of the other states out there?
There's nothing that offends me about a Jewish state. I am offended by the idea of states built on ethnocracy, no matter where they are.
Muslim included.
I would not want a state where any group of people laid down their citizenship rights based on ethnicity. The country of Israel is a state in which half the population exists on one tier of citizenship, and everybody else that's ruled by Israelis exists on another tier, including Palestinian Israeli citizens. The only people that exist on that first tier are Israeli Jews. Why do we support that? Why is that okay? I'm the child of Jim Crow. I'm the child of people that were born into a country where that was exactly the case, of American apartheid. I walk over there and I walk through the occupied territories and I walk down a street in Hebron, and a guy says to me, I can't walk down the street unless I profess my religion. I'm with another pastor. No. I want to. This is very, very important.
It is important. It is
extremely important.
Yeah, lay it down.
I'm working with the person that is guiding me is a Palestinian whose father, whose grandfather and grandmother was born in this town, and I have more freedom to walk than he does.
Why is there no agency in this book for the Palestinians? They exist in your narrative merely as victims of the Israelis, as though they were not offered peace at any juncture, as though they don't have a stake in this as well. What is their role in the lack of a Palestinian?
I have a very, 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 very moral compass about this. And again, perhaps it's because of my ancestry. Either apartheid is right or it's wrong.
The Star anchor, who is Jewish, was admonished on Monday on the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel. Coates has been stirring up controversy as he goes on tour for his new book, The Message. Coates compares Israel's treatment of Palestinians to apartheid and a moral crime. Coates writes, quote, "For as sure as my ancestors were born into a country where none of them was the equal of any white man, Israel was revealing itself to be a country where no Palestinian is ever the equal of any Jewish person anywhere." Let's watch another exchange.
When I read the book, I imagine if I took your name out of it, took away the awards and the acclaim, took the cover off the book, the publishing house goes away, the content of that section would not be out of place in the backpack of an extremist. And so then I found myself wondering, why does Ta-Nehisi Coates, who I've known for a long time, read his work for a long time, very talented, smart guy, leave out so much? Why leave out that Israel is surrounded by countries that want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it?
So there was an eruption at CBS over this interview. The top brass said the anchor didn't meet their editorial standards. Others believed he was doing well at his job. There is a reaction to CBS and also the actions they're now taking. Editors at the Free Press wrote on Monday, how is CBS marking October 7th? By admonishing Tony Dokoupil. And that's not all. Puck News reported, get this, CBS is inviting a self-described mental health expert, DEI strategist, and trauma trainer, a man by the name of Dr. Donald Grant, to moderate a conversation on this issue at a forthcoming all-staff meeting. That's the part of this that I rolled my eyes hardest at. Look, I think what happened was fine. He got harsh scrutiny from Tony Dokoupil. That is the job of journalists, to do harsh scrutiny. And I thought he addressed the scrutiny he was getting. I thought Coates addressed the scrutiny just fine. You can watch that exchange and decide who you felt more, affinity for based on how they had that conversation about Israel-Palestine. And that's absolutely fine. I don't see any problem with it. I don't think there's a problem with Tony Dokoupil asking those questions. I don't think there's a problem with Coates fielding them the way that he did. It's all fine. It was an example of journalism. There's nothing to be upset about. And CBS, I think it's the staff is mad, is what, if I'm reading between the lines, it's always the staff. It's always this small number of young, this is the case, young woke people working at the company on Slack going, oh no, but my feelings are hurt because I had to watch something uncomfortable and somebody was actually challenged who I like, and oh no, I'm so whiny and sad about it. We need DEI, we need therapy, we need trauma dogs, we need everything. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's a
stupid,
very weird response to the outrage. I watched this in real time, and full disclosure, I used to work for CBS. I think that they have very strict standards, and over the years, especially with less movies leaving, they have been adamant about adhering to those standards, especially in light of Me Too. With that being said, okay, these two guys are friends. It's not just that they know each other. They're friends. They hang out. They have these debates. It's like, you know, if you were coming over to my house for dinner, we might have an extension of a debate that we have for dinner on air. That's
Let me guarantee you can have very uncomfortable conversations about Israel with people you otherwise like. Our viewers know. They have seen it on the show.
Yes, and with that being said, I mean, there have been a lot of criticisms over Coates' book, just sort of like parachuting into Palestine and uncovering. And I listened to the Terry Gross interview on Fresh Air. You know, he admits that he did not know enough about the Mideast. He admits that, you know, he went there and he was truly surprised. And I'm glad that he went there firsthand and really saw what he says is the apartheid there and the unequal treatment of Palestinians in Israel and, of course, obviously in Palestine. I agree with him all that. The criticism that some people are having over this book is that it was just like, because he's Ta-Nehisi Coates, this esteemed writer, suddenly he writes a book because, you know, what so many others have been debating for years and years, centuries, is now occurring to him, and he gets to sell a bestseller book. It was fascinating. It was kind of like Dreams of My Father in a sense of his personal narrative. But also, I think that Dokoupil, who is Jewish, I mean, this is, I think, a question of, do you give up your identity when you're reporting? He is a friend of his, so he can push back, and Coates pushed back very hard, as you said. And I think it was great. I think it was a great conversation. But I think the editorial question is, as a reporter, because that's what Tony Dokoupil is, he's not just like a moderator or, you know, a morning guy. He's a reporter. Does he have an obligation to pull back on his identity, as being a Jew, when interviewing on a conflict that obviously affects his own identity? That I think is the ultimate question. I thought the tone was a little weird when he said this could have been like an extremist book. That was the only part that I felt was a little bit out of.
I mean, I thought it was good journalism and it was a good moment on TV, and they don't all have to be friendly interviews, and I thought it was fun. I thought there was no story here. It was grilling about a book and a perspective, and that's fine. And I thought Coates handled himself perfectly well. Actually, I respect him more for how he didn't blow up and say, "How dare you? I'm only entitled to like a fluff or a friendly interview." No, I thought he handled himself very well. This is someone I don't otherwise agree with, or especially like I don't love the writing of. I mean, he's good at his craft. I really strongly disagree with his ideology. I thought he did great in this interview, and more power, all credit to him. I'm not upset with anyone involved in this except the lunatic crybaby staff members who complain every time an actual example of journalism occurs because they think it should just be this emotional safe space. So they're entitled to extend their emotional safe space into the entire workplace, even a workplace where part of the product of the organization is sometimes confrontational interviews. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Not every single time. You can interview your friends and have it just be nice too, that's fine. But some of the time that's the way it's supposed to be. And they're big mad about it, and they're gonna bring in a DEI consultant. By the way, I've seen allegations that this guy's kind of a whack job, the DEI person I noted. But I would love if it would be, I think it should be Matt Walsh in disguise. Would be the hilarious thing to me. That would be so
It's not
great.
like one of those projects that you guys all
Put his wig on, his man bun wig, and send him out there.
I think it's wild. I mean, I agree with you. They're blowing it out of proportion. You know, there are real reporters that have real problems, and those are the ones who I think we should be calling into question.
Yeah.
We're not solving it today.
That does it for us today on Rising. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you can find podcasts. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.